This is Radio Nepal. I'm Kaushal Ghimide with the news, the headlines first. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda urges universities to effectively implement academic calendar. Police arrest 7 individuals over Lalita Niwas land procurement scam. Deputy Prime Minister Narayan Kaji Shrestha along with high-level Nepali delegation in Sichuan for an official visit to China. And Russian missiles hit the center of Kramatorsk in eastern Ukraine, killing 4 people and injuring many more. Now the news in detail. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda has urged the universities to effectively implement academic calendar. In his address to a meeting organized on the occasion of the 64th anniversary of the Tribhuvan University Senate yesterday, the Prime Minister, who is also the Chancellor of the university, emphasized that it was the responsibility of TU office bearers to prioritize the best interest of students and guardians. The Prime Minister directed the Tribhuvan University to effectively implement the academic calendar, ensure timely completion of classes, timely hold exams, and the prompt publication of results. Police have arrested 7 people over the Lalita Niwas land procurement scam. A squad from the Central Investigation Bureau, CIB, of Nepal Police apprehended them from different parts of Kathmandu. Nepal Police spokesperson, Deputy Inspector General of Police, Kuber Kardayat, said the arrestees were the then Chief of Inland Revenue Office, Delhi Bajar, Kaladhar Deuja, and employees at the same office, Surendra Man Kapali, Dharma Prasad Gautam, Hupendra Mani Kesi, and Gopal Karki. Likewise, former election Commissioner Sudhir Kumar Shah has also been arrested over the same case. Earlier yesterday, Meen Bahadur Gurung, the proprietor of Bhatpatini supermarket franchise, was arrested by the CIB in connection with the investigation into the Lalita Niwas scam. The arrestees are charged of transferring the land at Lalita Niwas at Balwatar, which is under government's ownership, in the name of various individuals. The concerned ministers yesterday completed their response to lawmakers' questions in a session of House of Representatives under the Appropriation Bill 2023. Responding to the lawmakers' queries, Minister for Law, Justice and Parliamentary Affairs, Thanaraj Gurung, said the government was committed to delivering services to the people by establishing good governance. Minister Gurung mentioned that the ministry was serious on the issue of making justice delivery prompt and smooth. Likewise, Minister for Land Management, Cooperatives and Poverty Alleviation, Ranjita Shrestha Chowdhury, said the government had pursued a policy of a modern technology-based farming system in the land left uncultivated. Minister Shrestha also assured of ending the practice of keeping fertile land unused and promoting the domestic production through a modern technology-based farming. Similarly, Education Minister Ashok Kumar Rai has assured that concerns related to increasing facilities for early childhood development teachers and staffers in the community schools would be addressed once the Federal Education Act came into effect. Minister Rai said a 4-member talk team had been formed to resolve the issues. Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Home Affairs Narayan Kaji Shrestha, along with a high-level Nepali delegation, has commenced an official visit to China. The purpose of Deputy Prime Minister Shrestha's visit is to enhance bilateral ties between Nepal and China. The delegation includes key officials such as Joint Secretary of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Lok Bahadur Thapa and Joint Secretary of Home Affairs Rudra Devi Sharma. During the visit, Deputy Prime Minister Shrestha will participate in various significant events, including the Western China International Fair reception, and will address the inaugural session as a special guest. He will also engage in meetings with Sichuan University's leadership, officials from Sichuan Airlines and local business leaders. Additionally, he will visit earthquake-affected areas to observe the reconstruction effort. This visit underscores the mutual desire to strengthen relations and explore collaboration opportunities between Nepal and China. Deputy Prime Minister Shrestha left for Sichuan, China from Kathmandu late night yesterday. Finance Minister Dr. Prakash Sharan Mahat has clarified that the independent existence of the District Election Office would continue, making clear about the issues raised by lawmakers of the opposition parties in the first meeting of the House of Representatives yesterday. Finance Minister Mahat said the district election offices would not be dissolved. Earlier, lawmakers of CPNUML and Rashtriya Swatantra Party had protested the proposal of bringing the district election office under the office of the Chief District Officer. The meeting was postponed for 15 minutes following the protest. Nepal Airlines Corporation is to operate direct flights from Bhairahawa to Hong Kong. The national flag carrier, which is presently conducting direct flight to Hong Kong from Kathmandu, is making preparations to operate direct flight to Hong Kong from Bhairahawa. Meanwhile, Nepal Airlines also plans to operate flight from Bhairahawa to New Delhi, India, soon. Ramesh Paudel, spokesperson for the Nepal Airlines, said the final preparations are being made to operate direct flights from Bhairahawa to Hong Kong and New Delhi. United Nations Under-Secretary-General for Peace Operations Jean-Pierre Lacroix paid a courtesy call on Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Defence Purna Bahadur Kharka yesterday. In the meeting held at the Ministry of Defence, Deputy Prime Minister Kharka said the government of Nepal was committed to the peacekeeping operations carried out by the United Nations and said Nepal could send up to 10,000 peacekeepers at the call of the United Nations. Minister Kharka also shared that as part of the commitment to the United Nations Environment Protection Strategy, projects related to alternative energy to reduce carbon emissions had been implemented in Nepal. On the occasion, Under Secretary General Lacroix praised the role played by Nepal in international peacekeeping operations and for continuous deployment of peacekeepers at the call of the United Nations. The Deputy Secretary General is on a 4-day visit to Nepal and is also scheduled to call on Prime Minister and the Foreign Minister. Meanwhile, the United Nations Under-Secretary General Lacroix held a meeting yesterday with Chief of Army Staff Prabhuram Sharma at the Nepal Army Headquarters. The visit comes as part of Lacroix's 4-day visit to Nepal. During the meeting, both parties engaged in discussions pertaining to bilateral interest and concerns. The matters discussed were related to the ongoing peace operations and initiatives conducted by the United Nations. The Nepal Army Directorate of Military Public Relations and Information confirmed the exchange of views between the UN official and the Chief of Army Staff. You're listening to Radio Nepal's 8 a.m. English News Bulletin. Now on to some international updates. Russian missiles have hit the center of Kramatorsk in eastern Ukraine, killing 4 people and injuring many more. A restaurant and shopping area were hit in Tuesday's strike on the city, which is under Ukrainian control but close to Russian-occupied parts of Ukraine. People may be trapped under the rubble and a rescue operation is underway. An eyewitness told the BBC he saw dead people screaming, people crying, and huge chaos. Meanwhile, a United Nations report has claimed that Russia executed 77 civilians being held in arbitrary detention in Ukraine. According to the report released by the United Nations yesterday, the UN documented the summary execution of 77 civilians while they were arbitrarily detained by the Russian Federation. Matilda Bogner, head of the UN Human Rights Monitoring Mission in Ukraine, unveiled the report amid a press briefing in Geneva. Meanwhile, the United Nations says it has recorded more than 1,000 civilians killed and wounded in attacks in Afghanistan since the Taliban takeover. Now, the general weather forecast for the country for today. According to the Meteorological Forecasting Division, the weather will be partly to generally cloudy throughout the country. Light to moderate rain with thunder and lightning is likely to occur at some places of Kosi Province, Gandaki Province, Lumbini Province and Sudur Pachim Province, and at a few places of the rest of the country. There are also chances of heavy rainfall at 1 or 2 places of the Kosi Province, Gandaki Province, Lumbini Province and Sudur Pachim Province. With this, we have almost come to the end of this news bulletin, but before wrapping up, let's have a reminder of the headlines once again. Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal Prachanda urges universities to effectively implement academic calendar. Police arrest 7 individuals over Lalita Niwas land procurement scam. Deputy Prime Minister Narayan Kaji Shrestha along with high-level Nepali delegation in Sichuan for official visit to China. And Russian missiles hit the center of Kramatorsk in eastern Ukraine, killing 4 people and injuring many more. Well, that's all the news we have for this bulletin, and next bulletin in English will be at 2 in the afternoon. You can also listen to us online at our website www.onlineradionepal.gov.np. Keep listening to Radio Nepal and have a good day.